Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here, and welcome to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a transfer market video to do today, and it is going to be in regards to shadow sniping. So as you guys know, I was never the type of person to understand and utilize the market as much as possible to make my money. But with the way that the game is formatted nowadays in regards to division rivals, foot champs, squad battles, and all this stuff, I feel like it's very important for me to finally start to study and see what makes sense in the market in regards to me selling. Now, as some of you guys know, when I made my weekend league team, I had like 20K left in my squad, right? So this is the team that I ended up building. Again, I haven't played any games because I've been really trying to study the market as much as possible so I can make coins and share some of this stuff with you guys. So the shadow sniping method. So what you have to do with the shadow sniping method is you have to find players for a lower price than what you could potentially sell them for in the long haul, right? So what I mean by that is, players like Fernando, like Fabian, with like Lame or Ruben Neves as CDMs, players like Luke Shaw at left back, players like Aurier over here at right back for 3.4, and Ndombele for 4.4, Bakayoko for 3K. You want to be able to buy all these cards for a lower amount and then sell them on for a higher amount. So the two positions that I like to check out the most is the right back position, the CDM position, and the left back position, because those are the most meta positions in regards to getting the shadow chemistry style. You could totally try it out with the center mid position change or the center mid position, but I do find more of a consistency when I'm trying them to find them through the CDM position modifier. You can see with Malqui over here, a bunch of 3.2s, was able to buy him for like a bunch of 2.1s and 2.2s and then sell them on. These players are not always going to be consistent in regards to selling. Sometimes it's always different. These players are not players, ladies and gentlemen, that sell right away. They are players that sell over time for the lazy buyers. Keywords, lazy buyers, okay? The whole point of this method is to understand the general area of where a card sells for, because sometimes you buy cards at a certain price that are not going to sell at that certain price right away. So for instance, with Aurier, you guys saw that I listed one of him up for 3.4K, but this one is at a 3.2K and it doesn't sell right away, but it's in the last 11 minutes of him being on the transfer market. Lazy buyers will want to buy a Serge Aurier card with the shadow chemistry style and be like, hey, I'll just buy this one because it's only a 400, 500 coin difference. A 400, 500 coin difference obviously is not a lot for a lot of people when they're building the team and whatnot, but for us, it makes a huge difference. So you can see that I have a bunch of players in my transfer list that aren't selling right away, but they're chilling, that could potentially sell by the end of them being on the market with Malong and all these types of cards, right? So, how do you actually utilize the shadow sniping method? Let's go ahead and just clear all these cards out. You guys have a good idea of how much they cost, like Ruben Neves at 3.9. These are all cards that sold at CDMs, but the position change when they're actually sold, it switches them to their original position, I'm assuming, right? It's like I guess it's the glitch, but they never really, I don't think they're going to adjust that in any point soon. So basically what you do is you go to the transfer market and you search for the Shadow CDM Gold Rare, and then you search for 2.5K or 2.4K or 2.6K, right? So you can see what you see is an average of players that consistently cost around this price that are not worth sniping, right? So with the CDM position, you're going to see players like Diop, Cyprian, Matic, Javi Martinez, right? These are consistent players that always cost around this price, so it's never worth actually sniping them for. Okay, so we go to 2.6K, right? 2.6K, we go to the next filter over here. We still have the same consistent players, Cyprian, Matic, Diop. Nothing changes in regards to this filter. But you could see that Eric Dyer actually turns into one of the players that start to go into this filter here at 2.5K. I don't like sniping Dyer. He's the oddball out in regards to all the players in this list. And you could see that I'm even, sniping at 2.6K. But Eric Dyer is one of those cards that doesn't really snipe near the end of the life cycle of him being on the market. So I don't like sniping that card personally, right? So, okay, we're searching 1 to 2,700 coins. Now you see that Scott McTominay is in that list. So Scott McTominay could be a potential player that you can buy. Scott McTominay is also another player similar to Eric Dyer that even though he's at a certain price range, if I search to the market right now for 2,900 coins, and a bunch of Scott McTominays popped up, he's still the type of card that I have had an experience with that doesn't sell right away for that certain price. And that's the big thing that you have to take into consideration with these cards. Now you see this Jetson Fernandez card for 2,900 coins. That's a card that I'm going to risk snipe right now because in the past I have sold this card for 3,400 coins for lazy buyers. So what we can do after we've looked at this Jetson Fernandez card is we can go ahead and see what he costs on the market in general, because you have to take into consideration, right, that the shadow chemistry style by itself is around 4K right now. It could be 4K, it could be 3K, it could be one or the other, right? So you can see right now that it's going to be around 3.2K, but it's a card that you have to snipe. So Jetson Fernandez, let's take into consideration what he costs in general, right? His regular position, I believe, is the center mid position. So if we search for Jetson Fernandez on the market, you can see that his OG position is center mid. He goes for a bid of 600, right? So 600 bid. If I were to search for Jetson Fernandez, he's a 650 bid. A lot of these cards might actually sell for this specific price. Cool. That's him in the center mid position, but we sniped one for a CDM with the shadow chemistry style. Okay, we'll switch him to the CDM position. Center mid to CDM right now costs around 1,100 coins. So you're adding a value of 1,100 coins to how much he's selling for. So he's a player that costs probably 750 as a buy now. Okay, we'll search the card with the CDM position modifier, right? And now we'll search him up on the market, and you could see that with 1,800 coins, there's actually none on the market, right? No one is listing this card for a CDM position change. If we take out this filter, you're probably going to find some people that are going to go a little off. Okay, so you can see right here that he's actually selling for 1,800 coins, because that's the difference between how much he regularly sells for and how much the position modifier has now made him. Now, on top of that, we have the shadow chemistry style. So in our minds now, we're thinking, okay, he's selling for 1.8K. I want to see what he's like at 4.8K. Okay, let's go check him out. We give him the shadow chemistry style because this is the position we bought him in. And now we search for this card at 4.8K. In my opinion, I don't think he's going to cost 4.8K, never in a million years. But we're going to see what he's like around this general price range, right? So as the transfer market loads up, you can see that he's actually selling for 4K right now. With cards like this, I like to list them around 3.6K because 4K, 23 minutes left, a lazy buyer could potentially buy this card 100%. But for me, because of past experiences, I have noticed that he usually sells for 3.4, 3.4, 3.5, and 3.6K. Okay, we go back to the transfer list. Again, we're still selling some more players with Aurier and Lala being sold as the right backs. With Jetson Fernandez, we bought him for 2,900, so we're going to list him up for 3,500. That's what we're going to go for, right? So what you have to do is you have to see where your profit margin is with these players. So you go on Footbin, you go to your tax calculator. You could just do this in your head, obviously, because it's 5% tax on the players. But if you're not comfortable with that, 3,500 coins, you get 3,300 back. We bought this card for 2,900 on the market. We just made 425 coins. If this card sells for a lazy buyer like my Serge Aurier just did there at the end, right? Okay, we just bought Jetson Fernandez. We got some players over here that sold from the right back position, bought a bunch of Auriers around 2.2K, 2.3K, just sold them for 3.2. Awesome. Let's keep searching the CDM position modifier now, right? So I just showed you guys an example with Jetson Fernandez. When you guys are doing this method, make sure that you are always checking the actual price, the average price, not the lowest, the average price of the player, because lazy buyers will buy the card once they see the average price being consistent. It may not sell the first time, it may not sell the second time, but at some point these cards do sell. Okay, so again, we'll search for the rare golds and we'll search for the card at 2.5K again. Right, so again, you're going to see that the players are very consistent in regards to the ones that are linked up here. You can see that no one has bought Eric Dyer yet, but he could be a lazy buyer card where someone at the end of the card will buy this card. Okay, let's go to 2,700 on this filter, right? 2,700. Now you can see the cards are still consistent. So what you do at this point, right, is you have to measure around this general area, 26, 27, 28, 2900 coins, right? Because you have to remember the price of these players that sell with the shadow chemistry style. All the generic players you see are always consistent. Gilavogi, Matic, Xhaka, Cyprian Diop, Matic, all these guys, right? At this point, what you can do is you go to 2.7K, go to the end of the list, right? Compare price, back out, and the market will keep refreshing, right? Now, when it comes to the CDM position, when it comes to the right back position, sometimes you have dry spells. Dry spells are you can go 5 minutes and nothing is listed, and then 5 minutes later, you can get like 3, 4, 5, 6 players coming in at once, right? So right now, it's a little dry, right? So we'll just keep comparing price. We'll keep refreshing this, seeing if the player comes in, right? And you can see nothing's coming up. Okay, so let's try it for 2,800. Again, you will always notice that the players that show up around this price range is always consistent. Look at that. Sabitzer just showed up. We can buy that card. The reason why I bought Sabitzer's card is because I remember how much he sells for. You guys may not. Let's go check his price out, right? The same thing that we did with Jetson Fernandez, we're going to do with Sabitzer. We can just compare the price again, see if anything new pops up. You can see that Matic goes away. New cards just came up. Matic is at the end over there. Okay. So again, with Sabitzer's card, we're going to go check out what his price is. So with Sabitzer's card, we are going to see a card that's not going to cost this amount, right? He's not going to cost anywhere near that amount. We could search him for 3K. 3K still not there. 3.2, nothing. 3.5, nothing. 3.7, he's going to maybe, no, 3.7, nothing. 3.8, 3.9 is his average, right? We just bought the card for 2.9. I'm going to list him up for 3.8. A lazy buyer will pick up this card. He might not be sold right away. Maybe someone wants Sabitzer right away, and they actually do buy the card right away for 3.8, right? So we're going to list them up for 3.8. You can see we bought them for 2,800. Let's go to the tax calculator. 3,800 coins. We just made 800 coins on this card if he sells in the market. Now, something that you notice is that is a trend after some time is you'll notice that some cards don't end up selling, right? So you can see that my Herrera is not really selling. I've listed him 3 or 4 times. He doesn't really sell. Keita, very similar. So Keita, we bought for 2,300. So we're not losing too big of a profit on this card. We're going to go for 2,600 on this card. And with Herrera, we're going to go for 28. Now, because the taxes is so low, even at 2,800, I'm still getting 2,660 back. I bought the card for 2,600. It is a risk I'm willing to take because I didn't lose any money. Even if it's 60 coins, I'm still buying the card to see if he sells in the market. Same thing with this McGregor card, right? This McGregor card I bought for 1,700. If I list him for 2,000 right now, or I list him for this amount, 2,200, he'll actually potentially sell. Because if you go on the market right now and search for CDMs, right, and you search for a player at 2,200, what you'll see is you actually won't find that many people. You can see Matic, you can see Cyprian, but this McGregor card is not there. So a person who's like a Celtic fan in real life, a Scottish Premier League fan in real life, will buy a card like that. Okay, we'll just can keep going. 2,600 for the CDM position. You can see that Nzonzi has now popped up. And Nzonzi, again, is another card that I don't really like selling that much in regards to having the shadow chemistry style, because I feel like he's very inconsistent in regards to selling because I've had that past experience from before. But if you were to go through the filter here at 3K coins, you'll notice that Nzonzi is the only one here. Bakayoko is 2,900. Jorginho is at 3,000. We could potentially snipe that card, but I don't know how much he costs. He's at 50 minutes right now, so I would have to go check his price. Nzonzi is here for 2.5K. Now, you can risk and sell him for 3K right now. I don't really like doing it personally on Nzonzi's card. Maybe he sells at some point, but Nzonzi is 34 pace, so it's not a consistent card that always sells. Because we can even search right now the same exact thing, right? And again, he's going to be a card that might not sell right away, but he could be sold to a lazy buyer that is just trying to make a certain team. So that's how you would do it with the CDM position change, right? We got a player like Sabitzer. We got a player like Jetson Fernandez that sells. Fernando is a card that I just sniped. Look at that. Now, as you guys remember from the beginning of the video, Fernando sells for 3,100 coins. So what do? A CDM Fernando card, 3,100 coins. I saw that all my Fernando sold. So, you know what? Maybe we'll push him a little bit. Maybe we'll go for a a 3,200 buy now, right? Because maybe he'll actually sell at that price. If he was selling at 3,100 consistently, this card could also sell at 3,200, right? So 700 coin difference will make 650, 640 coins on that card. There's a James Rodriguez that is a CDM with a shadow. It's very strange, but someone will actually probably buy that card, to be honest with you. Compare the price. Go to the end of the list over here. Nzonzi, Fernando again. That's probably my Fernando, actually. So we'll go ahead and relist or refresh this list over here. Go back to the end of the list here. See if there's a new card. Another Fernando for 2,300. Again, 2,300 coins. Now we're going to go ahead and list him for 3,200. I'm listing him for 3,200, like I said, and like I've kept saying in this video, because I know that he sells at that price. I've seen the average of the card going for that similar price. If you compare the price and you go back to it, it doesn't really remove Fernando. It's a really consistent thing with the compare pricing, and maybe I'm doing it wrong, but regardless, you can see what the filter is like. See, now he's no longer here. Remember, beginning of the video, Fernando sold for 3,100. We're selling for 3,200, maybe pushing the length a little bit. Okay, that's the CDM position. Let's go to the right back position this time. So the oddball tactic, right? We're going to search for cards around 22 or 2,500 coins. Let's go 2,500, right? So 2,500 coins as a right back. You're going to see as I skip through this list, it's always the same consistent players. Pavard, Thomas Munier, Florenzi at 2.5K, all these guys, right? So what you do when you search in the right back position is the oddball out. Arias, oddball out. That's a risk that I'm willing to take. I don't remember how much Arias sells for with a shadow chemistry style, but we're going to see. Sometimes you risk it, right? So he sells. We have Schmidt here. We have a bunch of Arias cards here. So I might have screwed up with Arias, right? But we'll check it out and we'll see what's up with the card and how much he sells for an average, right? Because again, you list it for the lazy buyers. That Arias card could actually potentially be a good card to snipe right now because someone listed a lot of him for a pretty decent price. So if Arias sells for 3K as an average, then we're looking good. Okay, so he is a 3K as an average, right? You can see that this card's going for 2,300. We'll buy this one, right? We'll buy this one over here. And then we'll list both of these cards for 3,000 coins because that's the average price of the card being sold on the market. Again, not a card that will be sold right away. 3,000 coins, right? If we search again on the market, you can now see there's only one Arias for 3,000 coins. So we actually got pretty fortunate with Arias. So very, very similar situation to my Malqui card where he sells for a certain price and I could just buy a lot of him and sell him for 3K and make a pretty good profit on this card. Now, guys, I wouldn't be sniping these cards and wasting my own coins on my accounts doing this if it didn't make sense to do. It just does because I know that lazy buyers will look at these cards and buy them by the end of it. Look at Aurier. Aurier didn't sell, but the other one did at 3,200. Reece James will put it down for 2,600. Don't lose too much profit there. Aurier will relist again for 3,200, right? Because, you know, people didn't buy him at that moment, but they might buy him afterwards. Okay, we go back to the right back position. Now we know that Arias cost that general amount. You can see that no one is buying this card for that amount. His average is now going to be 3K. Okay, back to the right back position. We go to 2,500 coins again and go back to the end of the list. The right back one takes a little bit longer because the filter is a little longer. But again, you have dry spells with both the CDM position change and the right back position change. So the idea is to try to just get these cards for decent prices. Okay, so now you analyze all the cards here. The desk card actually sold. You can see the desk card actually sold for 1,900. So this is the type of stuff that you can analyze and see. So desk sold for 1,900. Let's go see how much desk sells for on average on the market with the shadow chemistry style. So we'll search him for 2,400, right? So 2,400, no Barcelona card, right? No Barcelona card at all on this market. 2,600, nothing yet. 3,100. 3,100, we now have the Barcelona one. So I could have bought that desk card for, I think it was 1,800 on the market, and I could have sold him for 2,600 on the market because he's a Barcelona card, right? So stuff like that, you learn as you're sniping, as you're seeing constantly, right? We'll do it again with the right back position change. Again, always with the shadow chemistry style. And you could do this for different players. I'm just showing you guys how I do it with the lower rated cards, right? Because this is just a thing that you have to consistently do constantly to see what the prices of players are. You could see that we have Arias again, so I didn't actually refresh this page here, so we want to refresh the page. We'll go back to the end of the list over here because my same cards are being listed there, but it's good to actually recheck the list to see what sold and at what price so that you understand that you have to snipe these cards for the future, right? Okay, so 50 minutes left, 54 minutes left, 57. We start seeing some Reece James, Thomas Munier, nothing crazy. Okay, so nothing crazy for the right back position in regards to what has been listed. Thomas Munier just went for 2,000 coins. Again, search Thomas Munier on the market, see what his average is. Let's see what we actually sold on the market. We ended up selling Fernando for 3,200 and Reece James for 2,600. So again, these are cards that sell over time, my dude. So I just want to give you guys a gist of what I've been doing in regards to the market, sniping players for a certain price and then just listing them up for a higher price. Again, guys, it's definitely worth doing this over time because you make a pretty good amount of money over time. You can see that the Nzonzi card's still not sold on the market, which is why I didn't try to snipe that card. The CDM position change seems to be like a dry spell right now. Sometimes I snipe like a Gabaman card for like 20. Oh, a lot of cards right here. Okay, so this, I buy these cards, and I'm going to tell you why I buy these cards. Kessier, no. Decore, yes. Decore, yes. Awesome. The reason why I bought these cards, I'll tell you why. You guys saw how much Decore was selling for on the market when I had him at the time, right? The lazy buyers were buying him for 3,300, right? 3,300. Tonali is a type of card that as a lazy buyer could be sold for 3,500. I actually sniped a Tonali the other day with my boy in the party for like 800 coins one time with a Shadow Chemistry style, and then I was able to sell him for like 3,900 at nighttime. So it's just giving these lazy buyers cards to snipe at that moment. But you see, there was not a lot of these cards being sniped for when I was initially searching for them. Kessier, you could totally do that as well, but Kessier is not a card that consistently sells, so I don't like going for him, to be honest, right? 200, we go search these prices again. Kessier is still in the market. You could potentially sell him for 3,000. He's not consistent though, so I don't go for him, right? We keep it going, we keep it going. Kessier is still here, right? We go again. We search for a higher price. Kessier, Nzonzi, Scott McTominay, nothing, right? So we go a little bit higher as well. Sometimes you want to push the 2,800, 2,900 because you know how much these cards sell for on average on the market. 2,900. I'm making this long video because I want to show you guys that these cards do eventually sell, you know what I'm saying? So, oh, Gundogan, big, huge pull right there. Someone's probably actually going to buy that, yes. Gundogan is a really big one because he actually sells, oh, Delaney. Delaney sold for sure. These markets are really slow. Oh, beautiful. I could sell him for 3,400 because I remember him selling for that amount. So 22, 34, bam. That Gundogan card would have been huge, man, because that's like, that card sells for like 4K. I'm not even joking. I've sold him for 4K at one point. Kessier for 2,700. So more people are listing Kessier's card. Okay, boom, boom. It's always nice to have a lot of coins when it comes to this as well, because it allows you to buy more of these players. And last but not least, guys, we have the bidding to do as well, right? So you can bid on these cards for 2,400 because you know that they sell for like 3,200 or whatever, right? Bakayoko, I know, sells for 3,000, so I'm going to try to bid him for 1,700. That's Bakayoko down. Delaney will do for 2,000 because I know that he sells for 3,400. Delaney again. And you just mass bid on these guys. Darun is a card that sells for like 3,200, so you could potentially get that card. 1,500 for Gabaman. I know that he sells for like 3,400. 3,400 for Tonali as well, right? And then you just keep bidding on these cards. And then, oh, Ndombele, I sniped for like 2K. He's a card that sells for like, I think 4.4K with CDM and a shadow, right? Decore, blah, blah, blah. And you just go from there, right? And then as you're sniping, right, with those cards already bid on, you just keep sniping the Shadow Chemistry style with CDMs. Lamer's a big one. Yeah, Lamer's a huge one. Lamer pops up sometimes, and Lamer costs like 4K coins like you guys saw earlier in the video too, right? So I want to see if I can get another good snipe here for you guys. Oxlade Chamberlain's a weird one. Someone will probably buy that card, to be fair, but I don't really like trading with Oxlade Chamberlain because it's a weird one. Doesn't make sense to give a shout out to him unless you just want the pace on him. Kessier again for 2,700. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the gist of the video, guys, in regards to how you could potentially make money with the Shadow Chemistry style. Look, we just sold 3 cards. Let's see who they were. We just sold Fernando Sabitzer for 3,800. We sniped him for like, I think it was 29 at the time. And then Oyer we bought for 2.2. And you could see someone actually bought that card faster than what he was on the market for before. So there you have it, man. That's how I've been making money on these cards. These are cards that are going to sell over time. I've been doing this consistently. We had 20K 2 days ago, and with the cards that exist in this market right now, I've made over 300K, right? So it's a good way to make unlimited coins in this game without actually having to play the game or stress out over foot champs or whatever it is. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. I'll catch you guys for the next video. Peace out, dudes. Love you guys.